I'm Swerv O Harold. This is NOM-MOC-NI Art Gallery. It stands for In Common, spelled backwards. Pretty much the whole goal is to have another space in San Antonio where people can meet up with particular, things in common that they have in common. Initially, this was just supposed to be a gallery space and also event space in terms of think like a tiny desk shows. What ended up happening is it also turned into my studio as well. I had something happen to where I had to transport all my artwork up here. Also, this is the home of the Orange Noir, that is my clothing brand. Most of my artwork consists of faces or facial features, and I say that's probably like 95% the bulk of my work. It pretty much stemmed from, initially I was working off of like a mask concept, and eventually I just ended up doing straight up faces and working around that. So pretty much I try and load up as much emotion into those faces as possible. It's real, I'd say, minimalistic, but even with that said, it still has its difficulties associated with it. Medium I use is mostly ink. So the black lines, it's not acrylic, it's not oil, it's ink. Typically, if I mess up on a piece, I don't try and cover it up, I just stop there. It isn't, that's one thing I can say I don't entirely like doing digital work, because you can always go back and correct it. I like having that element of, if I mess up, well, or if I'm working, and this happens a lot, if I'm working a piece and I'm at that decision point where I should either stop or continue. Sometimes I continue on, and it doesn't take much. And I think it has to do with, the minimalistic nature. It doesn't take much to tip it to the point where it's like, okay, you went too far. So always finding that line between, the minimalistic nature, the ink and all that. I had a vase in my house, and I finally just brought it up to the gallery, and I was just drawing on it with the same line patterns, and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I posted it, and the reception was pretty decent, and someone picked it up right away, and I was like, maybe I should be doing this too. These are art books, streetwear books, music books that, and design books that and other artist type books that I've collected. It's supposed to be pretty much a library. They can actually look through the books, and some of the books, as you can see, I still have tagged with green stickies. But some of those is I just wanted them, and a lot of it is just place where I can pick up inspiration from. This is the permanent collection side. So these are actually other artists that I've collected, whether it be original pieces or signed prints, and then in some cases some open edition. So the three that look the same, the white, black, yellow, red, white, black, and then the other yellow, white, black, they're by an artist named Cleon Peterson. This is his typical subject matter. It's kind of typical subject matter and typical, build of, figurine, or it kind of lends to the, more, I don't want to say darker side, but it has a certain feel to it. This is by a Detroit artist named Sheffy McFly. This is pretty much his subject matter. Most of the work that I like collecting for the permanent collection is pretty much what I would like my art to emulate at some point, is where people can look at it and they know who did it on site. They know the name of the artist. They can tell that without even having actually seen the artist. I think that's, to be honest, I think that's how it should be. It's like, if you see an artwork, you know the style, you know the name, without necessarily having seen the person and then having, I guess, I don't know, it's like sometimes if you know who did something beforehand, it kind of influences what you might think about something. But if you haven't actually seen that person, you have a different, you look at the art through a different light. This piece is by an artist named Mad Saki. This is pretty much just a rat spray can. I think it was either 1 out of 200 or 1 out of 300, something like that. But essentially what he does is he, I want to say it's spray paint and acrylic, but he'll take iconic images and pretty much put like a happy face in place of the regular face. And his works are pretty like, massive. His name is Pierre Para. He's from Amsterdam. This is his general subject matter. It's a lot. You can tell it's playful. This is one of his earlier pieces. He doesn't use words. He doesn't use words in his work as much because from what I said, it was an interview that he did in which he was talking about, I guess, the differences between his earlier work and his work that he does now, which this is actually more of what his work looks like now. It kind of, I guess when you put words and use words in your artwork, it kind of already like puts ideas in people's minds as to the subject matter and all that. I don't want to say cheapen wouldn't be the word, but depending on the message you're trying to convey, it could cheapen what you're trying to say. This one here is by an artist named Gangsta Doodles, and he initially used to draw all his stuff on 3x3 posters. I also, when I was first starting the brand and doing all my faces, I was actually working on 3x3 posters too because it was just easy. I could just pretty much do the design and then stash it. I still have a shoebox full of those early drawings I did for the brand. I don't know where it's at right now. I probably should know where that's at, but that's stashed away somewhere. And this is pretty much his drawing of a actual photo of Biggie. He just drew it in his style. This is another signed, numbered original, but it isn't, this is actually a silk screen. This is pretty much the brand of Orange Noir. So if you see the oranges, that's pretty much here, me, my constituents. The actual meaning behind the brand is pretty much my take on more film things, but brought into like a more present day atmosphere. So a lot of those things were kind of more dark. The things that I try and focus on, it is less dark, but it's kind of, it kind of hits more to things that might be relevant today. So don't play with my emotions. Libre is just free in Spanish. Even some of the face icons that I use. This is flower in French. So I've actually been able to incorporate actual like Noir film stills, but the dialogue at the bottom of it is not a part of the movie. It's actually like either rap, hip hop, or things that people have said currently that have just caught on and people have just been saying it. So this is pretty much that. And I don't know why I didn't click in my head to initially do this when I started the brand, but this is a fairly recent thing.